Hello, hi and welcome to another episode of the Emma Gunn Show, and thank you if you are returning to this video because you are watching me as I attempt to lose 10 pounds. Now, I need to stop saying that because actually this isn't about losing 10 pounds. It is very much about being a woman in her late 40s who wants to body recomp and hoping that along the way, that recomp, which means reducing my body fat and increasing my muscle mass, leads to a shift in my scale weight. And I sort of daftly, stupidly, and I'm sorry that I'm preempting every single episode to say this, but I'm at pains to say it because saying that you want to lose 10 pounds is kind of like that cover thing that says bikini body ready in 2 weeks. It rolls off the tongue. But what we're really trying to do here, what I'm really trying to do here, is to change my body composition so that my muscle is increased and my body fat is decreased. Why? Because metabolically that will make me more efficient if I have more lean muscle. I also like being stronger. I like building muscle. And as somebody who has been obese in the past and is still technically on the BMI scale overweight, I would like to drop my body fat percentage for the reasons that there are complications, there are health issues associated with a higher body fat percentage that we can go into another time. But I mean, really, this is fundamentally about how does a woman who has a history of binge eating modify their diet and their exercise routine in order to achieve this goal. And I'm going to tell you that this week I have gained weight, not just a little bit of weight, 3 pounds. But do I look worried? Oh, sorry, if you're listening to the podcast, I'm obviously filming this as well. And I'm staring down the barrel of the camera looking like, of course I'm not. I'm trying to raise an eyebrow, but I simply cannot do that. I am not worried. Why am I not worried? Well, this is all part of the process because this weekend I have had a very social weekend. We had a family birthday, so there was a pub lunch. There was, what else was there? I was seeing friends, so we went out for dinner. And even though I have this goal, and I'm committed to this goal, and I am using intermittent fasting, I'm using a high protein, low fat diet, I am strength training 5 times a week. Even though I'm doing all of those things, I simply can't be the person socially, as I was for such a long time, who would always say no or be worried about the impact of that one dessert or the impact of that one meal that I had slightly less control over because I wasn't weighing it out. I just don't want to be that person. I want to be able to achieve this goal while still living my life and making choices that make me feel good and don't make me feel like I'm kind of half involved in these wonderful social events that I am a part of. And so I just enjoyed myself. Did I enjoy myself to the point of recklessness? Absolutely not. My way of doing this is to indulge, but to a point. So I don't think I overdid it, but compared to what I'm doing normally, absolutely, it looks like I've completely come off the rails. But that's life. Weekends happen, social occasions happen, birthdays happen, and I don't see the point of not enjoying them. So when I got on the scales today, which I should not have done, I'll tell you why I shouldn't have done it. I knew, I could feel, I was like, well, I know I will be retaining water. I know that I've got food volume issues there, but whatever. And I could have waited until tomorrow to weigh myself because I'm pretty sure the number tomorrow would be more favorable. It probably would have been a 2 pound weight gain, maybe even a 1.5. I don't know. But today I waited to the middle of the day and I thought, oh, do you know what? Let's just see. And I was like, yeah, okay, that absolutely tracks. It's a 3 pound weight gain since the last time I weighed myself, which was on Friday. So Saturday, family birthday. Sunday, what else happened on Sunday? Went out for, what did I do on Sunday? I've completely blanked because it was that busy. You know when it's that busy that you cannot remember. But anyway, there was some food. There was then dinner in the evening. There was, what else was there? I decided to bunk off. I did a Ferris Bueller. The weather in the UK right now is so utterly glorious. I mean, it is unbelievable. I am sitting here with no lighting, just sitting in front of my office window, and it is just the most gorgeous light. It is just 2:00 in the afternoon on a Tuesday, and it looks like the most glorious day you've ever seen. Yesterday was similar. So on a whim at 8:00 in the morning, just thought, you know what? Work for myself, own boss. I know I'm diligent. I know I'm conscientious. I work hard. I'm going to do something I've never done before. I'm going to do a Bueller and I'm going to take the day off. Got on a train down to Hastings, went to the seaside, had the most glorious day, but it was like leaving the house at 9 o'clock, getting back after, I think, 9:30 at night. So it was a long day. And I wasn't going to not have a lager shandy with my lunch. I had moule mariniere. I had, what else did I have? Oh, a clam chowder. Really wanted an ice cream, but unfortunately by the time I fancied one, all of the places were shut, even though it was a glorious day. Anyway, the point being, after all of that, it would have been more sensible to think, you know what, just have a day, get back into your routine, and then get on the scales. But I just thought, you know what, I'm just curious to see. And this is why we have the unworried face. This is part of the process. I'm not bothered about this in any way, shape or form. I just think this is what will happen when you change the way that you are eating. And if I trust the process, and if from today, which I have done, I go back to my intermittent fasting, I go back to my high protein, low fat diet, I go back to my strength training, I get a walk in, then everything will be okay. So what have the changes been? Admittedly, there is a spike in weight today. I anticipate that there will be a drop tomorrow, but the trend is going down. But I was talking to a friend at the weekend who said, but how do you feel? Do you feel any different? And actually, the truth is, yes. See, this is about recomp. So I haven't tested, I weighed myself today, but I didn't do my body fat percentage or my muscle mass, which I will do again tomorrow, just simply because I have to press a different button. I completely forgotten. By the time I remembered, I was dressed and up and ready to go. So anyway, I haven't, but I can definitely feel the difference when I am eating high protein and low fat. I'm strength training, I'm getting my steps in, I'm drinking lots of water. So last week, I feel like I hit a real sort of peak with that. And I was talking to my friend saying, who's also on their own weight loss journey for completely different reasons. We were just saying how you reach that point where even though what you think you might be losing isn't about losing a dress size necessarily, isn't about making a big sort of shape change, it's this comp change. There was a day last week when I put on my clothes and I thought, oh, now that's nice. They fit before, but it's a different type of fit. You feel a little bit more, I don't know, that you've got a little bit more space in them. And I said, that's kind of a really good measure. The scale is one thing, obviously, but at this age and also with this kind of weight loss effort, we are talking about, and I've had so many people DM me about this on Instagram, people who are slightly older than me or who are menopausal who are saying, you've got to stick with it because it could be that every week you're losing like a couple of 100 grams. So it doesn't feel like it's worth it, but you've got to stick with it because it is this slow, gradual kind of almost creeping off that happens. And I totally believe that that is what's happening here, to be honest. But I definitely had that kind of whoosh, that kind of, oh, something really, really changed. It's that thing that you wake up one morning and you feel a bit leaner. Everything feels a little bit more sucked in, a little bit sort of, oh, okay, I can feel that all of these things that I've been doing for a couple of months now are really taking effect. It's kind of, it happens so slowly. And then one day you think, oh, yes, that's a nice feeling. And the truth is, it is a really nice feeling. And after the email that I had last week that I told you about with someone basically saying you're anorexic, I had a lot of people respond to me saying, why has it become so controversial to talk about an intention to lose weight, to talk about an intention to make dietary or exercise changes in order to feel good? This does not mean disordered. And someone made a really good point on DM, and they all come in thick and fast. And sometimes on Instagram, those messages, they're so easy to lose. But someone made a really good point of, you wouldn't say that it was disordered the way that people feed babies, but people weigh out food, they weigh out formula. You also, if somebody was trying to gain weight for whatever reason, you do exactly the same thing. And it doesn't mean it's disordered. It just means that you are being conscientious and thoughtful and trying to stick within some sort of program in order to get a goal. How is that unhelpful, unhealthy, disordered, toxic, or any of the many things that come into play? And so it is just proof that sometimes in those early stages, because I don't think I've been able to say to you, other than how I felt with intermittent fasting, I don't think I've been able to come onto this channel, this podcast, this video, and say to you for, what are we at now, like 8 weeks? I would say for the first 6 of those, I wouldn't have been able to say, you know what, yeah, I can really feel it. It was just blind faith that this repetition, that this consistency was going to start having the changes. And even though I've seen the scales the trend in the scale weight go down, even though I have 100% seen that, I hadn't really got the sort of that endorphin rush feeling of feeling it. Yes, I might have felt good for the intermittent fasting. Yes, the strength training might make me feel good, and I might get an endorphin rush from those individual workouts or from the compounding of those workouts over the course of a week. I definitely feel, the intermittent fasting is such a big piece for me, but without a shadow of a doubt, I feel so much better for eating high protein and low fat. My only sort of warning here is I'm not sure I'm getting enough fiber, so I'm being really mindful to add legume into my diet, so that I'm also getting fiber, because I can have a really good protein day and then I look at my fiber and I think, that's not particularly impressive. So I'm trying to, where I have my if you've watched my Instagram where I do my poached eggs on spinach, I'm actually trying to have like half a tin of chickpeas with that now, even if I mash those up and sort of have them as a little bit of a side with something on. Or I had butter beans with it the other day and it was absolutely delightful. Just half a tin of butter beans, gets that fiber, also quite rich in protein. So nice little addition, so that it's not just protein all the time, which it can be. That, without a shadow of a doubt, makes me feel so much better. And it's things like having a long weekend, doing a Beulah and drinking a lager shandy and having moule mariniere and fries. It's that sort of thing that makes you actually feel how good it feels to eat that way. So as much as I had an absolutely incredible time, brilliant memories, had this sort of secret stolen day of holiday where the weather was absolutely perfect, when I woke up this morning, I thought that was absolutely wonderful. But what doesn't feel wonderful is my stomach doesn't feel as good. I feel like I'm a bit like, if I jump up and down, I think it would sound like somebody shaking a bottle of water. I feel a bit more distended around my middle, where I've eaten in a way that is different from when I'm eating high protein, low fat. And again, not bothered about that, because I'm pretty sure that's going to be rectified within 24 hours. So it's not a bother, but it's just one of those things that I can note and go, oh, this is fine. But actually, it's really important that I found this way of eating, this way of hitting my macros, supporting my workout, supporting this current goal, which obviously isn't a long-term goal. I hope that we'll eventually get to the 10 pounds and start to, maybe we'll get to the 10 pounds, but then we'll really look at that recomp, look at the body fat and look at the muscle mass, and then we'll make tweaks accordingly. But it's so brilliant. I feel so lucky, not just to be doing this, but to be doing this with you, because it's on record that this way of eating makes me feel good. It makes me feel a little bit springier in my step. It makes me feel stronger. It makes me feel, I definitely sleep better when I eat that way. And intermittent fasting definitely helps with that. This weekend, sleep has not been fantastic. There has been alcohol in the mix, which obviously isn't fantastic, but not enough to, I don't think a couple of lager shandies and some hot sake is really something to get to. Oh, there were 2 Mai Tais as well. But that's over a 4-day weekend. So I'm not going to get too troubled about that. But then when I come back to normal, I'm abstemious. I don't have any alcohol if I don't need to. And when I say need, that's obviously in inverted commas. And it's just, if it's social, I'm not going to turn down a drink. If I want it, I'll have it. But equally, if I don't want it, I also won't have it. And I think that's a really important distinction to make, because I have a sort of a limit with alcohol that I didn't used to have. And I don't know, I think this is something that a lot of women in their 40s experience. Wine for me is just a no-no. I can have some Cremant. I really like that. I can have a glass of champagne, maybe 2 glasses of champagne. But if I'm at an event where, you arrive and there's champagne, and then when you sit down for lunch, they switch to wine, I'm like, no. That is when things will go south. I have a very clear bounded relationship with alcohol, in that I know when I can have it and enjoy it. But as soon as I take a sip and I don't like the taste of it, or I think, it's not even just the taste, it's just, suddenly there will be a sip will just make me feel as though my brain is dehydrated. And I'll think, no, I don't like that feeling. Time to rehydrate, time to get back on the Pepsi Max, time to get on the soda water and lime wedge. I just don't want to drink anything else. And I was trying to explain it to somebody the other day who does not have that kind of experience with alcohol. And I said, the thing is that I don't like feeling rubbish. I really don't. And if you've been here for a while, if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I spend a lot of time working out. I spend a lot of time being considered about what I'm going to eat. It's more of a reflex now, but you know what I mean. There's been a lot of work that's gone into this. It's a 6-year project. This started in 2019 when I was like, right, I'm going to overhaul my life. And I'm sick and tired. I don't like feeling bad. I also have been for a long time a migraine sufferer. Now, my instances of migraine have dropped significantly over the last couple of years. And I wonder if a lot of these lifestyle choices have contributed to that. But alcohol is that one thing, and also overeating is another thing, that it can make me feel bad, and I don't want to feel that way. So as soon as I think it's going to go from fun to bad, I just stop. It just holds no appeal for me. I don't like drinking to the point where I feel terrible the next day. The sweet spot for me is being able to have a drink and wake up and think, oh, I don't even feel like I had a drink last night. And that does mean drinking less. Doesn't make me boring, I don't think, but it's a choice that I choose to make, because I would rather wake up and be able to get up, bounce out of bed, do a workout, go into appointments, get my work done, have an idea, as I have sometimes. Like, I'll wake up, I'll have a coffee, and then I'll think, oh, and then I'll suddenly think, oh, I'll get that down and I'll start writing a Substack. So I like having that. That's something to me, is something that's really appealing. But all of these learnings that I am learning with you on this particular challenge, if you like, are kind of coming together in a way whereby I'm being quite hardcore at the moment, but when I'm not, I'm really learning what I like. I don't want to be this hardcore forever moving forward, because I don't see the point, but so it will relax. But whilst I'm being hardcore, it's really highlighting the things that the habits that I can sometimes fall into, or the things that I can sometimes do that I know make me feel bad. And that's fine, whether it's, I don't know, eating chips on the beach. I'm not going to apologize for it, but I now feel much more, I don't know, equipped, empowered, although I get a bit annoyed with that word, but I feel equipped to be able to have this thing that I come back to. So I don't have an indulgent 3 or 4 days and go, oh no, I've got to pull it back. What do I do? I know exactly what to do. It's a reflex. It's more comfortable and habitual to me to come back to this space than it is to go into the sort of indulgent space. So I feel as though this challenge is really helping me see that. And I hope that becomes something that is second nature long term, because as I said to you right at the beginning, I think I started the intermittent fasting maybe 4 or 5 days before I started this kind of, hey, I'm doing a weight loss challenge. And even within those first 4 days, I thought, oh, why did I ever stop? I completely understand why I did intermittent fasting in the first place. What I don't understand is why I ever stopped. I think it is utterly, utterly brilliant. And I am so glad that by doing this, I've relearned that, and getting onto an eating schedule that involves giving my body time to digest, which it hasn't had this weekend, has shown me how much it needs it. Today, I definitely feel bloated. I definitely don't feel as that sort of lean feeling that I had been feeling before. But I also know that that's 24 hours away by just going back to what I was doing before, which is just so brilliant to know that. So yes, the scales today would suggest that I've absolutely ruined everything, but I haven't. There's so much that I'm gaining from this, from observing how I feel, observing what's working for me, tweaking things in one direction. If it doesn't feel like it's like not feeling great, I can go, well, I'll try that now. So it's all just for the greater good, which is just absolutely brilliant. So yes, it might look like, and when I got on the scales, I just went, yep, that's fair. Seems fair. I predicted it. I don't know if anyone else does this, but when I got on the scales, I was like, I reckon it's going to be, and I said the weight out loud, and I was pretty much bang on. So I think it's also perhaps I'm sort of more intuitive, but that doesn't mean that I'm not back on it. I had a really early breakfast this morning, which was great. I actually had black coffee and a tiny bit of fruit. I didn't have anything because I didn't feel like I wasn't hungry at all, because I ate quite late last night. I've come back. I've done quite a lot of work, gone through all of my emails, etc., etc. Now I'm doing this. I didn't get a chance to work out this morning. I took yesterday off exercising, which felt quite rebellious, but it was completely the right thing to do. I'm going to go for a walk today. I'm going to do a strength training workout. It's going to be back to reality in a really good way. I'm looking forward actually to how I'm going to feel tomorrow morning, which I think is brilliant. And it just feels very relaxed. It feels really easy. It doesn't feel like, oh, I've got to go back to how I was before. It just feels like, okay, we'll just it just feels like, oh yeah, that. It feels so good. And I do feel as though it's all part of this challenge that we've been doing together. And I know loads of you are doing this. I've had so many messages from people saying, I'd forgotten about intermittent fasting. I'm doing it again. I now feel absolutely brilliant. Or people particularly, because I've been posting every day on Instagram when I do work out, I'm like, this is the link to the workout I've just done. And because it's Caroline Gervin, and so many people are messaging me saying, I've just started the iron program, or I wasn't sure about the iron program, so I've started something else. I've been doing it for 2 weeks. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is brilliant. So it's so good. So if that's your experience, if you've been following along to any of this and any of what I've said today chimes with you, this whole idea of kind of like hitting a bump in the road, but it's okay because you've laid so much groundwork for what you have to do to just get back to normal and feel really good again, then let me know. You can comment underneath this video. You can DM me on Instagram where I'm at Emma Guns. You can email me office@emmaguns.com, and you can also subscribe to my Substack, which I would love you to do. There is a piece. This is the thing that I'm neglecting at the moment, not deliberately, but there is a piece going up on Substack which will sort of cover all of this. I try not to make Substack too long because I think as much as it is a place where you can write to quite a long length, I also think it's a pretty good place to kind of do something quite snappy. So I'm just going to try and cover off a few of these points in a Substack as well, so that and obviously it'll include some other bits and bobs. But anyway, that's where we are with it all. And like I said, not fast. Next week I'll check in, and I guarantee you, or if it's not the case, then I'll be like, well, it's leveled out. But I honestly believe that by this time next week, we'll be having a different conversation. I'll be like, yeah, I'm back on track. And I'll be able to look at my graph on MyFitnessPal, and I'll see the weight go up. And then I'm pretty sure I'm going to see that trend go down again. Now, it might take a few days, but it is going to go down again. And that's because I know all the things that I need to do, because I've been doing them. I've been doing them in a way that feels non-restrictive. I've been doing them in a way that feels comfortable. And I've been doing them in a way that makes me feel really good. I don't feel panicked. I don't feel like I'm overdoing it. I feel like this is slow and steady, and it's going to win the race, and we're going to get to where we want to go to. So anyway, that's where we are this week. And do keep an eye on Substack. Do keep an eye on my Instagram, because I will be updating there as well. And if you want to go to my Instagram and see the pictures from my Ferris Bueller's Day Off in Hastings, then go to @EmmaGuns on Instagram. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Please do get in touch with me. Please do comment under this video if anything chimes. It would be so nice to hear from you. And if you're listening on the podcast feed, then please do email me, office@emmaguns.com, or DM me on Instagram where I'm at @EmmaGuns. It would be just the best to have a chat with you about all of this, because I know quite a few of you are having these same sorts of thoughts. You're a similar age and you're wanting to make changes. And I know that some of you have kind of taken some of what I've been doing, or you've been sharing with me things that you've been doing, which I've been listening to also. There are some brilliant suggestions that have been coming in. So keep in touch. Let's keep in touch. Let's chat. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for listening. I will see you on the next one.